What's up, everybody? My name's Tyler, this is Sean, and we are
Rendered Reality.
Mixing it up a little bit this morning.
I had to do it. I was going to screw with Sean earlier, but I had to do it now. I couldn't hold back. So
We've been on here chatting for like 10 minutes or so, and Tyler's been nothing but playing with voice settings for like 10 minutes.
It's a problem.
Being ridiculous. So what we got lined up for today?
So we have some really big stuff, actually. So we got the dev from Ninja Legends coming on. He'll be on a little bit later. We want to talk about your office, by the way, which looks amazing.
It's getting there. It doesn't really look amazing. Just what you see right now looks okay. Everything else beyond here is a little disarray still. Still a lot of boxes that have yet to be unpacked and some things sitting around, but it's getting
I'm
there.
sure he would love to hear your guys' comments about what to do, what he needs, what he doesn't need. You know, he's worried about his furniture, having a desk and all that stuff. But
yeah, I'm actually on a temporary desk right now, but I'm gonna probably get another desk today. So I'm just curious how to set things up still, but I'm playing with it.
Yep. We're also going to hit, there's a bunch of new games that have actually dropped too. And a lot of betas that have dropped in the last day or two. And we got a bunch of videos of those. I found a little bit of a sleeper game maybe out there that I think is great, but we'll tell you about that one later. Sean may not think so, but I do.
I haven't tried it yet, so.
Yeah, it feeds my classic gaming needs, I guess. But yeah, if you like Army of Darkness, if you know that movie, I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, there you go. You also got some new Mamut stuff in today or this week or whatever that we're going to talk a little bit about too. So.
I did.
Nice.
Yep. That's pretty cool. I haven't even got to try it out yet. I got it last night when I got home. But I threw a picture up on our Discord. They have some new packaging and stuff for their grips and everything, but we'll show you all that later.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some videos of that up soon. But mine is still stuck in transit. Hopefully it doesn't get messed up with the address change, so hopefully that'll show up correctly to the house, so we'll find out about that. Should be coming soon.
Yeah, you already had that happen once, didn't you, with something? How'd that work out? I forgot to ask. You must have got it.
So far, I've been able to either go in and change the delivery address for everything, or USPS has forwarded it to the right address. So hopefully everything will work out. And I do also have the updated VR cover on its way, and that should be here, I think, Monday. So that's the new updated version with the part that's supposed to clip in better on the bottom. So we will talk about that once I get it in. So
yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of pawing to get those. I mean, I know everybody. I do like mine. I keep mine on at all times.
Yeah.
It doesn't even leave. But actually, it's great too for sweating it out, which helps, keeps it cleaner. But
definitely. I know when I was in Ohio and we did the FrankenQuest to my Quest, and I put your VR because I didn't have the VR cover yet. I put your VR cover in the FrankenQuest, and that to me was like the ultimate comfort. Like the FrankenQuest and the VR cover, like it was nice.
I totally get that. Yeah. What was I just gonna? Speaking of, that's what it was. FrankenQuest. We were working on a video and trying to get it out to you last week, but we kind of had a little mishap with a little bit of our footage, so it is delayed a little bit. We got to reshoot some of it, but I mean, I know you love the FrankenQuest.
Oh, yeah.
Has your wife still been using it too?
It's been so crazy with the move that we haven't really had much time. So I know she will, because she's been saying, she wants to work out and stuff, and that is one of her ways of working out. So we will for sure. We actually just got a swimming pool, and we had that set up yesterday and had that filled. So we spent some time in that, a little R&R yesterday, but things are slowly getting there. And we have some family coming in from out of town. What is it? Not this coming week, the week after that. So we'll see how all that goes. Maybe get some other people in VR and stuff. So
there you go. You got a plank for Richie's plank experience too, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I was actually just texting my wife. I was going to tell her to send me the video of my mom doing it because it's hilarious. I was going to try to put it up here if I can get it on here during the show, but it's hilarious.
I love watching people try VR for the first time. It's just such an eye opener to people. They just don't realize what it is until they're in it. And I love seeing that for the first time.
Well, Richie's plank experience takes things to another level. When you have a plank and you have somebody that's not used to being in VR, I mean, it is like a surreal experience. It's crazy.
I haven't tried it yet.
No,
I actually don't have it even.
It's
so
the one of the
try
best
that.
things to put people in, I think.
I think
Just
I'm
at a
just
party.
waiting for like a house party or have people over or
Yeah.
something to try it because I want that full experience for it the first
Yeah,
time,
for
even for
sure.
me, like almost, but I should try it and
And
set it
get the
up and all that
board. Get
first.
the board because that really intense.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like especially most like 2x6 and stuff aren't perfectly true these days. So they usually have
sure.
even just on a flat floor, they have a little bit of wobble and stuff. And oh, it is just because I
On
mean,
carpet.
inside the
Yeah.
headset, the board is creaking and everything, and you're walking on it, and you feel a little bit of the movement, and it's awesome. So definitely try that out.
That is. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a limit to how long? Speaking of,
What do
how
you mean?
long of a board you can
I'm
buy?
not sure because you basically when you set it up there you have two flags. You have a flag at the beginning of the board and the end of the board, and you just place it in VR. So you walk down to
Hmm.
place the other flag, and you can line it up with the board. So I mean, I think I had like an 8-foot one.
Oh,
So
okay.
I mean,
Sure.
you could probably go longer if you got the space. I don't see why not.
Nice.
But
That's cool. Good to
and
know. Yeah.
somebody said so. Me Waters 1WT said got my updated VR cover too. Great comfort ad. So he has his updated
Yeah.
one. So a lot of people are starting to get those. They did ship out, and a lot of the people are those are showing up for.
I didn't really have issues with mine, and
Yeah.
you saw it. It didn't come out of
No.
mine at all. So
I guess some
don't
people
know.
had
Maybe I
more
just got lucky.
issues than others. I'm not sure, but yeah, you didn't have it. I
Sure.
mean, yours worked fine. I used yours and it worked fine. So
It's never popped out yet, so I don't really need a replacement
Yeah.
for myself. Speaking of replacements, have you thought about sending your index controllers back?
I have been thinking about opening a ticket, and I just have not had
know.
time. And I think I'm gonna open a ticket just to see what they say. I think we talked about that on the last episode. I haven't done it yet, but
So I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe somebody in chat will know too. But that they actually send you replacements
I don't know.
before sending them.
I don't know if they've started to send out replacements. I haven't been able to keep up enough on it lately, but I have heard some stuff here and there, but I don't know for sure if that's
know.
the case. I'm hoping that is the case because I don't want to send mine back and then have to wait. Like,
That's
if
the
that's
problem.
the case, I'll probably just not even worry about it because
I would
I don't
fix
want to
it
be without
myself.
it. Yeah, and there
Yeah,
are some
other
fixes.
than-
If you look on Reddit and stuff,
Sure.
there's some pretty easy fixes that, I mean, I
There
think
are.
the first fixes that were coming out were a little bit more difficult where you had to solder some stuff and all that, but the latest fixes that I've seen have been a little bit easier if
Yeah.
you're willing to take the chance of opening them up. But
I think in a nutshell, one that kind of fixes it is just making the riser posts for the stick a little taller somehow.
Right. Yep.
And then that solves it.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not afraid to solder
Obviously,
anything. but-
obviously a defect in my opinion from
Sure.
their man. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that got through still, but so
Yep.
did you pick up anything for Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day?
I did. I actually got, I did get the mouse that I was talking on here last week with everybody about. I got the G502. It was down to I did get the wired one. It was the one that was on sale, but it was like $34, I think, something like
nice.
that.
And
Which I'm super excited about.
Did you get a keyboard too?
I got a keyboard. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, that's good
I got a full mechanical keyboard, so you guys might hear it a little bit in the microphone. But I like the sound of it and the look of it. It's an RGB keyboard and stuff, and fully programmable. I love it. I think it was like $22,
Yeah,
and
that's
it is
crazy.
full featured. I mean, it's literally everything I could ask for. So, but yeah, both wired. I just went with wired just because I don't, if I did a lot of gaming and stuff, I would probably want wireless. The other reason too is I thought about wireless is just to free up USB ports.
Right. That is
But
nice.
now though, I'm not using a ton of USB ports. Without all the Rift sensors, I'm not. So it's not really an issue for me.
Right.
But yeah, it's.
And we were talking about that on the
like,
last show, and I was talking about for me, like I don't really do any gaming other than in VR, so I don't really use my mouse and keyboard. And somebody commented on
Right.
that video. Jarillo actually commented and said that he uses his keyboard and mouse a lot in VR, and I was curious to what he was playing, and he said he's a big fan of Vorpex, Resident Evil 7, Bioshock Infinite, and stuff like that. So if you use Vorpex, then
Sure.
it's a good thing to
and
have.
a lot of people are coming from flat PC gaming. So
Right.
it's built in, you know what I mean? It'd be like us picking up an Xbox controller.
Right, right.
It's just native to us. So,
Yeah.
that's nice. I do like that about this keyboard. So if you are a keyboard guy, and I'm sure a lot of the RGB ones do this, is you can light up the AWSD buttons and the arrows all separately and blank everything else out, and then light up certain ones you have set for things, set individual colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like for 22, I think, or $23 or something like that. It's
Yeah, the
incredible.
prices. Yeah, I mean,
I know.
I should have bought one too, even though I don't really need one, I don't think. But so the one thing I did buy on Prime Day was a set of these here.
Oh, that's
and
right.
These are
Yeah,
the
you did.
Mantis. I haven't even opened
Yep.
them yet. And the packaging is
Yep.
actually surprisingly really nice. I mean, it's got a really
For the
nice
money?
package and layout. Yeah, I mean, I
know.
think I paid like $30, $32 or something like that. So,
Yep.
and we talked about it last week, but I really need a custom paint job from the VR Mang because he did this,
I know.
and it just matches so well. And I'm definitely looking to do
too.
that because I mean that white on the headset is going to kind of drive me crazy. But
Sure. It's an add-on when it's white. When it's like that, it literally looks stock.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks no different than the CV1 basically.
Yeah.
Just that little bracket maybe where it clips on, and that's it.
Yep. So I'm excited about that. I actually I got that Chromecast Ultra too. I don't know if we talked about that last week, but I'm thinking about doing in the VR room because at the other house I had kind of a man cave room that wasn't the VR room, and it was actually outside in a big 10 by 20 shed that was all decked out as like, had a bar and all kinds of stuff in it. But I had a 40-inch TV out there, and I was thinking about putting that in the VR room, mounting it in here, and then leaving the Chromecast hooked up in here for doing any kind of stuff like that because it's a big room. So even for Richie's Plank experience and stuff, I have plenty of room to put a big board, and then be able to take that Chromecast on the go with me too. That way I'll just throw it in the case for when I go to other people's houses and stuff. But I haven't even opened that yet either. So I have some packages sitting around I haven't even opened.
So what I like about having a monitor too is that if you're playing something, it's easier for people to like hang out and watch too. Because if you're trying to watch it on like a PC monitor or something that's real small and in a VR room or somebody's office,
and
it's really just hard to watch. Yeah.
It's
really just
small.
tough.
True.
And for the cost of a Chromecast, and most TVs nowadays, all have the streaming stuff built into them. So or actually, with the Chromecast, you don't have to. That is your streaming part built in. So you just need an HDMI port. So yeah,
so that'd be
super
sweet.
nice.
So we should probably get into some of our actual topics because we do have a dev coming on here pretty soon. So we got quite a bit of stuff to get through before he gets on, and we do have some game codes for Ninja Legends to give away as well, and a couple other games too. Though, who donated these other games?
VR Mang actually donated.
That's what I thought. So yeah, I thought.
So let me just, before we get into that, so he actually was sending me a bunch of these, which are unbelievable deals. That, let's see, Humble Bundle and where was the other one?
Gaming, I think.
Green Man was the other one, I think. Yeah, and tons of deals. And he actually just before the show sent me how to get them. I think it was the ones on Green Man because I think that's where the killer deals are right now.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing the way because it's kind of like some workarounds to get all these deals. I was reading into this too a little bit. I'm glad he sent this because it's kind of confusing and I wasn't real sure exactly how to do this. So
he said he got No Man's Sky down to like $21 or something, or $21.99 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's
cheaper than we paid for it.
Yeah, I think we paid 25 or 29. 29. Yeah.
Yep, because it's 60 typically.
Okay,
so,
yeah, that's what it is.
So $21.99 and right before VR is going to drop. I mean, that's incredible.
Right.
I mean, if you want to play No Man's Sky, I definitely would pick it up there because
we've had it and I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it. I'm waiting for the VR. The VR is.
That's what I told him. He was like, "What do you think of it?" And I'm like, "I haven't even played it.
I'm not
touching it. No way.
Nope.
I know. Yeah, it's great. I'm excited for that though. I was actually watching a video of it last night again, just because I'm pumped for it, and just the colors and all of it. I'm just stoked.
And hopefully that's coming pretty soon. I'm really hoping that's pretty soon.
Yep.
I have a good feeling about it.
I think what we may do is we may post up those instructions on our Discord too, or even he can too. But yeah, I don't know. I can kind of read them off, but it does get a little confusing just because there's so much to it.
There's quite a few steps, kind of.
There is, yeah. There's a ton of steps, but yeah, this one is for Green Man Gaming. Yep. So greenmangaming.com and purchase any silver tiered sales game, and then there's a first time buyer code which he has, and there's Electronauts, Tabletop Simulator, which I haven't played but a lot of people really like, Mega Dimension, Neptunia, Zone of the Enders, Sprint Vector, Project Cars. Nice. So there's a good bit of games, and a ton more steps. But yeah, I don't need to read through it completely just to take up everyone else's time.
Yeah, we'll put it on the Discord. So there should be a link to our Discord in the description if you're not already on there, and we will post that up there. Because so you can get a drift for free. Yeah. I mean, there's like all kinds of stuff.
I know, crazy stuff.
So a lot of good deals.
And actually, what he did, he actually ended up with like duplicate codes and extras and stuff, and he actually gave them to us. Kindly enough to give away to you guys today on the show. So we actually have these codes to give to you because of VR Mang. We really appreciate it.
Huge shout out to him. So this is Raw Data on Steam. This is Raw Data, which is an awesome game. Raw Data is an awesome game. We played this. We played a lot of this back in the day, back in the early days of the Oculus Rift and stuff. We played this for a while.
But
and it
I
was
was
a lot
just
of fun.
talking. like these old games I forget about. I just got into a conversation with him about Payday 2.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we haven't played that. That's a blast to play co-op. Like to play with people, that game is so much fun. And I don't want to call it, it's not really a wave shoot. I mean, it's pretty involved. I mean, there's missions and stuff. The
some
one
of the
on
missions,
yacht,
some of the missions feel kind of like a wave shooter, but the one that I remember that I really liked was that one on that like cruise boat.
The yacht.
And I mean, you had to use some tactics because you had to take out people like guards and stuff without getting noticed by other people, and you had to find things all throughout the ship. I mean, that one mission was one of them that I really remember, because some of them were kind of like just, I mean, there was just waves and waves and waves of police. It was like, okay, this is getting kind of crazy, but there's some missions that are really good.
But I think we played that yacht mission for 3 days in a row trying to beat it.
It was hard.
Like we were so obsessed with beating it. It was so tough. And there's 5 different ways to play one mission like that too, which is awesome. I love that. So definitely a good game. Like, but stuff like that, you know, people forget about because all the new stuff. I was just looking up, and I so wish we could bring this game back. We've actually never played it. It's Hover Junkers. I wanted to play this game right before we got the VR headset, and I almost bought it then, but the player base was dead even then.
It was too early. Yeah, that game was too early for a multiplayer game.
So good. And I looked, there was like, I think yesterday there were 2 people that played it, you know, all day. And I'm like, I just want to play that game so bad, but it's still, I think, like $15 or $20 or something like that. But it's too bad because I'd pick that up. If it was like a $5 game, anybody would pick that up and it would be huge again, you know, but whatever. That's how it goes with VR.
True that.
But yeah, so what other games? There's been a bunch of new games come out lately.
There's all kinds of stuff. There's also the kind of stuff coming, have gotten announced. So do you want to talk about that game that you were all excited about?
Yes, let's please talk about it.
So there's no audio on this, but
no. So this game to me is like Doom mixed with Army of Darkness mixed with Hydro Thunder, like a rail like racing game. So
and this is
what
free.
You have, it's totally free to play, and there's 3 different levels, and the's like
oh, that's what that is. I wondered what that was. Okay, that's a cigarette hanging out of your mouth.
It's ridiculous. It's so over the top ridiculous, but there's like. But it's very like fun. Now I will warn you, if you are new to VR, I would stay away from it. It may make you a little VR sick. It was even taxing on me, but I was standing too. I probably should have been sitting. But yeah, you get a minigun on like the final lap, which is ridiculous. There's like people like there's like a zombie in a wheelchair. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's.
And it's free. I mean, it is free. So.
It is.
You sent me this. You sent me this link, and I was like, dude, I don't know about this game. So you went into it to try it, and you're like, it's awesome. And I was like, what? But I haven't tried it yet.
It's more the art style. It's not to be. It's more the art style of the game, though. And it's for what it is. If you've played VR and you don't really get VR sick, try it. Definitely worth a try.
For free. I mean, you can't go wrong.
It cracks me up. You have to like old school gaming as well. You know, you had to have played Doom or something back in the day. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's cracking me up. Or Unreal. What was it? Was it the original? What was the original Unreal? Was it Unreal? No, Unreal Tournament?
I think so, yeah.
A little bit gorish like that, but yeah. It was a lot of fun. It really was.
Right.
It's super cool though. I know you were like, "Oh no way!"
I saw that. I was like, "Man, that looks super rough." Like, is this even gonna play? I didn't even know if it was gonna be playable. You know what I mean? But you tried it. So
the one I didn't know is I got into slow mo, and you click in. I think it was the right stick, and you can go into slow mo too. So I thought my bike was just going slow.
Oh yeah.
But like when you go through like the checkpoints or whatever where the girls are and stuff, they like blow you kisses and it pops all up in front of you. It's just so.
Did you play on the Index?
Yeah, I played on the Index. Yeah,
nice.
Yep, and it played fine on the Index. So, yeah, it was pretty fun, but definitely worth a try. Yeah.
Yeah, check that out. Let us know in the comments what you think about that.
I know, please do because it is definitely.
I'll have to go into it. I'll have to go into it today, but so we also have. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong one. So we also have Tetris Effect.
Oh yeah,
that is coming to PC VR, and this is only on the Epic Game Store, I believe. Yeah.
But yeah, this does. Yeah, this looks. Oh yeah, is this the longer? Yeah, this is the longer trailer, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so.
I do like the Tetris stuff. I think everyone's trying to like revive the old school stuff in VR right now, which I think is really cool. I really do.
This game has a lot of good reviews. I mean, some people. I've heard some people say, it's not the greatest thing ever, and other people absolutely love it. And it's supposed to, I think, have some better visuals and stuff, some updated things for the PC VR end or the
Sure.
PC end compared to the PSVR. So it is supposed to have some
Sure.
improvements. And visually, I mean, I think it looks pretty cool and it should be pretty fun. But
I do too. But I'm afraid, you know, and being that this is, you know, on Epic and stuff, I'm afraid that Smush TV is going to blast this out of the water now. I don't know. I mean,
let's talk about that because
that's
this
kind of
is
going to be a thing.
So
if
Smush
they're coming around
TV,
the same time.
Smush TV is like a local multiplayer game where basically you're going to have one person in VR. Basically, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it does. I mean, essentially, it's the same thing as Tetris for the person on the monitor or the screen.
Yeah.
And then there's what the person in VR sees. So you actually see the blocks coming down.
And it looks like they're moving by shooting the bow and arrow. Like I don't have a ton of information on this game yet. But so this
you
is
also
like
use them to destroy things too.
Yeah, I believe so. So I mean, it would be kind of cool being in VR. You know, what I mean, that right there, they got smushed. But
I know. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Like, talk about something like if you just have one person over, you know, it's so hard to be in VR because then you're not with that person anymore because you're in there and they're sitting there waiting on you basically.
Right.
So this just gives you a whole nother dynamic. And I wish so many games, I wish every game had something on the screen that was interactive, whether it be, you know, you could help somebody in a shooter and select their, you know, their loadouts or something, you know, while they were playing. Or I wish games would just add little things in like that, and you don't have to use them, you know, if you don't want to.
I think this would be awesome though, because I mean, you're basically playing against each other in a sense. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it looks really good, and then they are having like a closed beta, so you can join their Discord, and it shows the Discord at the end of this video. But I haven't joined the Discord yet. I need to do that. So it's discord.smush.tv.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But
I guess I didn't realize they had a Discord up there. Nice. Yep. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really excited for that.
I think that'll be fun. And that's kind of like that Takelings game that we talked about before, which I'm also excited about. We don't have any more information about that yet, but Takelings looks pretty fun too. Another local co-op game.
Well, and the more people you have for that one too, the better. Because that one looks like you can have like 6 people or something. Yeah, you can have
quite a few. I'm pretty sure Smush TV is only 2, as far as I know, at least from the trailer and the information we have. But but I think
I always like that about Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. Just because it gives people outside of VR, you know, that drawing, which really does help. Are you watching chat, by the way? Because I'm not today. I don't know why.
I'm trying to a little bit, but so somebody asked what game is this, and I think they were talking about that game that you liked, that free game, and that was called.
It's called. Let It Die.
Yeah, but it's LED.
Yeah, with LED. Yeah,
LED. Let It Die. Yeah, and it's free on Steam. That is on Steam. So if that was the game, I think he was asking about, but.
Yep, it's so awesome. But just try it if you don't get sick in VR. That's all. But honestly, it wasn't. It was just like at first, and I probably, if I was sitting, it probably wouldn't have done it. So, but yeah, and Conquer Reality. Steve was saying that he loves hover junkers, and I just wish we could bring that back. But you know, I would love to have. Like,
we could try to bring it back. Yeah, we could try to get a game night and get everybody to get it. At least, I mean, I don't know how many players that is. I can't remember.
If it was a $5 game or something, I wouldn't feel bad. I would buy them and give them out to people just to come play with us. But you know, at $20 or $15, whatever it is, that's a hard sell. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard.
DLG27 said played Battle Wake closed beta last night for 2 hours. A lot of fun. So.
You know, and we'd been in talks with them obviously, like. And way early on stuff, and I was signed up for the beta, and I was supposed to get mine, and I never got.
Yeah, I don't think I did either. But I've had so much trouble keeping up with everything lately because of the move that I just haven't been following up with things. But we should shoot them a message. I don't know how much longer the closed beta. I don't know how much longer the beta lasts, but I haven't been into that. But I hear it is awesome. A lot of people are really liking that right now. I'm looking forward to that. I think that game comes out later this year, so we got a lot of good games this year coming.
Oh, there's a ton. Yeah, there's a ton of games coming out right now, which I kind of mentioned it too, that Aerobots is dropping their beta here.
Pretty soon.
It's actually, I already have it in my hands. They just haven't pushed it to their servers yet, so I'm just waiting on them at this point. But yeah, that game looks a lot of fun too. We were just talking about that, I think it was last night. But it does. I don't like a lot of the flying shooters, but this one to me, I feel has that draw that I really do want to play it. So hopefully it plays as good as it looks, I guess. But
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what else we got? Let me see here.
Oh, I thought your mouse was on something.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that.
Oh, it's too far down.
Yeah, you got to guess at those ones. You
There
should
we
have
go.
left it covered. That'd have been smarter.
Yeah, I should
And
have.
everyone could have guessed what those ones
Yep.
were.
So this one is
Except that's
for.
horrible because it locks you out of your account.
Yeah, no, if you try too many things wrong, it does
Yep,
lock you out.
yep.
So this is for Ninja Legends on Steam, and we are going to have one of the devs from this studio, I think it's Coinflip Studios, on later. So looking forward to a couple of you guys being able to check this out if you haven't checked it out yet. And
I know.
this isn't meant to be a workout game, but goodness it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when I was playing this, I was sweating like crazy. I mean, because of the fact that there's so much arm swinging and movement, and you're moving all around because there's enemies coming at you from all directions. So
Steve
it's pretty
from
cool.
Conquer Reality just did a video on it, so check that out on his channel. He was sweating it out. Like it's a workout game, you know. And that's the first level. He didn't even have like any of the power-ups going. He wasn't into like any serious bosses.
Yeah, there are some power-ups, some boss battles. There's quite a few different weapons. And we'll talk about it more later. I don't want to get into it too much yet. We're going to talk more about that later once the dev comes on. So.
Yeah. So Greg's VR said Carmageddon VR, and that's exactly what that game looks like. I was obsessed with that game. The blood and gore and driving around and stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. I forget, what was that on? Was that on Dreamcast?
I don't even know, to tell you the truth.
No, it might have just been PC. I forget. I don't remember.
Awesome.
I used to love that game though.
So hopefully somebody gets this key. I don't know if anybody got that yet. But we were looking at it's called Viro Move, talking about workout games, which this is actually another workout game basically.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got this trailer here.
Yeah, I don't think anybody have you heard of this?
I haven't until you sent me this, actually.
I know. I don't think it's brand new. I don't know if I've ever even heard of it anywhere.
This kind of mixes the box VR with like swords. There's guns.
Arcade-ish.
What was that other? There was another.
Like this looks
Beat
amazing.
Saber kind of a game that you're using shooters. I can't remember what it's called.
Electric. No.
No.
Electric.
I can't remember. But I mean, this is basically all of those workout games like that mixed into one. I mean, it kind of throws all of them into one. I mean, it looks pretty good. It just says coming soon. I don't know of an exact release date, but
it does. This looks awesome. Like just the visuals and everything, more interactive.
And we know these kind of games are fun. Like people love Beat Saber. I love box VR.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just a great way to get moving. Go to a rhythm of music, and it's a lot of fun.
I just like that this one like mixes it up. Like you have to like hit some stuff, shoot some stuff. Like it's all over. And I think that's really, really cool.
True that.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I can't wait for that.
So that should be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
And there's also one that's called Match VR, and you also found this.
Yeah,
and this is like a multiplayer shooter.
I think a week or two. I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not, but I've been kind of watching it, and it seems like they're getting a lot more polished with it.
I mean, visually it looks good. I mean, at least in this trailer. I'm sure it's probably like an engine video, but
yeah, but I've even seen a little bit of like gameplay and stuff, and it looks pretty good. It looked to me a lot like the old school Halo feel, like the original stuff, and kind of basic. Like the maps aren't super like detailed and stuff in like this video maybe, but it does. It looks like it's a lot of fun. It really, I mean, it looks good. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays.
Yeah, it's hard for a lot of these multiplayer PvP games, just because of the VR base. There's so many good ones to play. You know what I mean? That it's just hard to keep all of those servers full all the time, and we all kind of know that are in the VR space. But so it really,
I know.
Hopefully they can.
And we say it a lot. I don't know if you guys use it or not, but we use VRLFG all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't promote it for any reason other than just I use it every time I go to get on. That's where I go to see, if I'm wanting to play a multiplayer, to see what's populated.
Right.
I check there, and if there's a lot of people on, I know that's what I'm getting in. Like, I'm not going to go probably in standout if there's 3 people on.
Right.
But if there's 30 or so, I'm in. Because I don't want to play bots. So for me, that's where I go. They've been you can create events and stuff on there.
Yeah, you can.
We even talked about doing that, but yeah, I don't know if people actually use that or not.
I think they do. I don't know how widely used it is, but people do use it.
Sure.
Because I mean, I've seen some events posted and stuff on there, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And we also have Tarzan VR, which the trailer didn't really show us much of anything. It just kind of showed going through the jungle and stuff. But that is from the developer of Primordian, So
Yep.
that is what was the studio? Stone Punk Studios. So that is pretty awesome. I mean, that is. I mean, from what they say, it's going to be like an episodic thing. So there's going to be different,
Sure.
episodes that come out with different missions and stuff like that. So I don't know. We don't know a whole lot about it yet, just a little bit. But, it should be pretty cool as far as the swinging aspect and all of that stuff. The elements of Tarzan, into VR, I think would be pretty cool to play.
Absolutely. Because anything like even like with like Dirt Rally, just the trees going past you and stuff
Yeah.
like fast is just so immersive.
And if
like,
it's done well,
I don't
too,
know.
it can be,
Yeah.
it can feel awesome.
Yep. Well, that's even from that Aerobots trailer, like where they're going past the trees and stuff. Like that just looks so good. I love that. I don't.
sure.
It's because that's something we don't get to experience.
Right.
We're not typically flying through trees and stuff. Yeah, if you go ziplining or something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
past that, I mean, you're really not. So
Right.
stuff like that, I love. Like you don't normally get to do.
And we also have something out from Facebook that you actually kind of talked a little bit about something similar to this a while back, and that is the wrist-worn haptic device. And you actually wear one of these on both wrists, I guess. And it gives feedback for picking up items and stuff like that. There is no finger tracking in this, but finger tracking we know can be done controller-wise or external camera-wise. And we know Facebook's been working on finger tracking because they showed us that thing with Zuckerberg, a long time ago with his white glove on that we all remember seeing. But this is just another element of something that can add to the overall immersion, and it's almost like you need to have one of these on each hand, a tactile vest on, you know what I mean, like finger tracking, but it is weird how your brain can be tricked in VR to think something is there when it's not. And for me, like one of the best, still to this day, one of the best haptics that I remember, just feeling the bow pull in Rec Room in the touch controller, the original touch controllers.
Yep.
Like,
I know.
I mean, that really did it. I mean, normally in a game, like in a flat game, a controller rumble and stuff isn't like huge to me. I mean, it adds a little bit, but in VR done right, it really can add just the feeling of presence. And I don't know. I mean, it's weird how your brain works.
Like any type of friction you have when it gives you that feedback on it, like you're running over something rough, not just the vibrating of something like you're holding vibrating, but more like that friction feedback is really cool.
So this kind of tells you a little bit about making believable VR interaction. So it gives you squeeze cues, vibration cues, visual illusions. So, I mean, it doesn't give you visual illusions, but in game, I mean, even the fact that when you push a button in game, some games your hand will go through the button once the button's pushed. Other games your hand will stop once the button's pushed. You know what I mean? Like if you can get the right combination of all these things working together, it can really, do some magical things. So.
Yeah. So Commander in chat just said that wondered if we got to check out Telefrag yet. And he said he just got a 50% off Steam coupon for that game, which I didn't actually realize there were any sales on that already. But
yeah, I think we have a trailer for that, crazy. Don't we?
Yeah, we did. I don't know. We could have shown it when you were here, maybe. Could be on mine.
I do have one still.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. This game does look really good.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, it does.
Anshar Studios. And their trailer just looks really good too. They did a good job on the trailer.
Yeah, that's so it's hard, man. Sometimes the trailers, like, I just want to see that gameplay, like, and I know that's everybody, but I mean, I guess you take it for what it's worth. But like, there you go. So now you get to see the gameplay.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely does look good. It's cool the different planes. So did you notice that there's maps with like different gravity planes? You see that?
Okay.
How there's ones that are tilted.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that works.
Yeah, I know. Just talking about that tilted, do you remember playing Standout back in the day when that map was early and there was that one building that you walked into and it was tilted to the side?
Oh,
and that was the weirdest feeling when you walked in there, because you walked in and you're like, whoa, like I feel tilted. Yeah. Like it was so strange.
Like the Earth's gravity was off.
Yeah,
or
it was so
everything
weird.
was right.
It was actually kind of cool, but
I
don't think that building is. I mean, those maps have all changed by now, but
yeah, that Telefrag looks fast paced. I am curious.
It does.
So have you played it yet, Commander? Because I'd be curious to hear like how it plays. It looks super fast paced, so which I like, because if I'm gonna play, I want to get my money's worth in the time that I'm playing, because I don't get to play for usually 6 hours at a time.
So Paradise Decay said it's only 1v1. I didn't realize it was only 1v1.
That Telefrag is?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I never knew that either.
That would be a little disappointing if that was the case. But I guess that's an easier way to keep the servers filled up. You know, I mean, if it's all 1 versus 1,
Sure.
you know, it's a lot
Sure.
easier to
Yeah.
find games to
Huh.
play. But so we do need to
Interesting.
talk about Ninja Legends a little bit. They are going to be getting on here pretty soon. I'm going to
Yep.
show their trailer if you guys haven't seen Ninja Legends yet, which we actually did a video on Ninja Legends a while back when
We did,
the
yeah.
beta was still pretty
Yeah,
early.
that was super early. I think we were one of the. Did you have that first? You were one of the first to
Yeah, I
have
don't
that.
know.
in
It was
hands,
real
I think,
early.
right?
I'm not sure. It was real early
It
when
was.
we had it.
Yeah.
So it definitely has like a Fruit Ninja kind of slicing and
Sure.
dicing kind of feel to it, but
Yep.
it's really satisfying. There is the slow time mechanic. You know, you got
Yep.
bow and arrow. You have like the claw. I mean, there's some pretty cool weapons, and I really
Yeah.
enjoyed the sword. I really liked slicing stuff up.
The different maps are cool too.
Yeah. I mean, it played really
claw.
well, and I played the early beta. So, and this is actually out now on Steam, and we do have one more code to give away.
It gets intense when they're all around you.
Oh
too.
man, yeah.
Like,
I mean, because you
they
don't
get
ever know
around
what
you.
direction they're coming from exactly.
Right.
I mean, they're throwing things at you. I mean, it is pretty intense.
Yeah, and if you think Box VR makes you sweat, this, I mean.
Oh my
whew.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is hardcore. And the bosses. I know at first you were having trouble even with some of the bosses,
Yeah.
but it was early at the time, but
Well, I mean,
think they
it
have
just
all
got
that pretty
hard because
polished.
I made it to the later levels for the boss fights. That was one thing I wanted to try to get to was the boss fights, and they were tough.
Right.
They weren't easy.
Yeah, and you had to do an actual playthrough too. You didn't have
Yeah.
like, backdoor access to those, so you actually had to play through it
Right.
like
It's
that.
it's a good time.
Oh. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Is that's super cool. The rooftop one's cool.
It's a lot
That's
of fun.
awesome. Yeah, that's crazy.
And if you notice
So,
what it says there at the end,
yeah.
we'll talk about that a little bit more.
Did you have another code for that too?
Nope.
No,
Just
that's
this
too
one.
bad. Just that. Oh, just that one. Gotcha.
Just that code. That is the second
Yep.
code. So that is the last one we have. So somebody grab that up and definitely let us know what you think in the comments once you get in this game.
So, what are you drinking for coffee wise today? Just curious.
That is Pete's Big Bang. Good
You're
stuff.
still on Pete's. I just need to order some of that. Hey, you know what? By the way, happy birthday. I didn't actually get to tell you. I didn't even realize it was his birthday. And he said he was doing stuff during the day. What was
It was
yesterday?
Friday.
Yeah.
It was Friday. Yeah, yesterday.
And I'm like, what are you doing not at work today? And he's like, oh, she made me take it off for my birthday. And I'm like, you didn't even tell me, man. Like, I couldn't even like Amazon you something in that amount of time.
I don't worry
that's
about
not
birthdays. The wife wanted me to take it
Yeah.
off. We went to see The Lion King yesterday at Sin and Bistro, which is like one of those where you sit down, you get some good food and all that stuff.
That looks
So
cool.
it was a pretty good movie, and the food was really
Was it?
good. So
Yeah.
yeah, and we still did a bunch of work yesterday too, getting things finished up. Like I said, we got the pool filled, so we spent some time just relaxing in the pool, which was nice yesterday. So
I'm not a huge like that kind of movie type of person, but I watched like a documentary on it and I found it really interesting, like all the stuff that they were doing. And it's funny though you brought that up because they actually, I'm trying to think of the director's name.
I can't remember.
I forget, but he actually they shot all of that in VR. They actually watched it inside of VR. And what they would do is they would build these 3D worlds and they would actually put the headsets on, all the directors, and they would go in it and move around and say, this is the shot we want. This is the angle. We want the sun moved over like 30 degrees, to the side, or make it sunset, drop the sun down. And they would make it the angle, the camera shot, everything they wanted perfect. And they're like, okay, now shoot it. And then on top of that, they didn't just record it. They actually had real cameraman with trackers on them, tracking them with the headsets on, and they would follow those camera shots and the characters in the game. So even though it was all animated, all the shots were done with handheld cameras. So like the camera shake isn't fake. That was somebody with a camera looking through like a VR headset, like shooting that footage, which
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
incredible. Like or maybe they had a monitor. The cameraman might have had a monitor that was linked to their shot in the computer.
Yeah,
But either
I know.
way,
I read something about how they used VR in the production of that movie quite a bit, and we're starting to hear that more and more because it is something
John
that can
Favreau,
help.
that's who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible though. And they used like all Vive. I'm sure it was like Vive Pros. But I was, they had a whole office of like 6 directors sitting there on like VR headsets, and I'm like, this is literally the future of like cinema.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't wait till we
Crazy.
get to the next level of cinema where we can
I
actually
know.
be in the movies instead of just watching them. I mean, just like we get
Well,
in the games
yeah.
now, I want to get inside the movies.
Like
That's
where
gonna be
those
insane.
directors are in the game is where you're going to be in the movie,
Yeah,
like getting to watch it, and that's just,
be a
that's
whole
so
nother
cool.
level, whole nother level. But
And
yeah,
couldn't you imagine if it was like interactive even too?
oh man, yeah.
Like what if you were like watching The Lion King and like an animal runs up beside you or something and you could like, interact with it or touch it or like,
Yeah, that's going to be so tough
such a
because
different level,
it's
man.
going to be hard to direct where they want your focus to be. You know what I mean? They could do
Sure,
like a
sure. Yep.
180 instead of a 360 because that's going to be the hard part. Like even that,
Yep.
interactive, which would be cool, but it's like if that thing comes over and you're petting that lion or whatever, then,
I
you
know.
might miss what they want you to see in the movie. And thanks
I
for
know.
that sub, Warmark. Warmark just subscribed.
You did it for your
So,
birthday, man.
oh,
Everyone's
thank you.
wishing you happy birthday on the chat.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Um,
Thank you.
and
Oh,
Paradise
we got
Decay,
MRTV in here. MRTV's in
yep.
the house. I
Paradise
appreciate
Decay
that. Happy
said
birthday.
that Rogue One shot in VR too,
Yeah, I
which
know that
sounds
there has
incredible.
been. Yeah, there's
Oh,
been a couple
that'd
of
be
them
so
now that
good.
they've been doing that. I'm sure that makes the production of the movie, a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
just to picture that, like lining those shots up, moving something a little bit just to get that,
Right.
the shadows right or anything. I
Yep,
mean,
that would
the
have to help.
possibilities are endless. I know.
True that.
Yep. Well,
So we should go ahead and
I think
probably
we
get
should,
ready to call up. I think his name is
yeah.
David.
Yeah. Do you want me to hit David up? Yep.
Yeah, let's
I can
get him
grab
on the
him real
line.
quick for us. If you want to switch us up here, I will add him. Yeah. So it's a little early for him. He's in, and hopefully he answers here, but he's in California. So
He
it
is on the
definitely.
West
Good
Coast.
morning.
I
He
hear him.
is.
Let me get his video up here.
Yep. Here we go. Till we see him here. Yeah, you can double check it. Morning, David. We can't see you yet, but we should be able to here in 2 seconds.
Oh, that switched you.
wrong spot.
I lost Tyler.
That's all right. You don't want to see me anyways. It
Let
doesn't
me,
matter to me.
Let's see here.
There you go.
There we go. Let's get him resized here.
Nice.
Oh,
Morning.
and
How
he
are you?
has his morning coffee.
There you go. Yep.
That
That's
is
awesome.
mandatory.
Yep. That is. It's mandatory. Yep. I like
Yeah.
the cup too, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's hiking the Grand Canyon rim to rim.
Oh, that's cool. Oh man, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we always try and mix our coffee cups up every once in a while, change it up a little bit. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Sorry it's so early out there. I know you must have drew the short straw in the office to get up this early.
Oh, thanks for having me on, but I always am up this early.
I
I'm one of
know.
the weird ones out in California, not sleeping in.
That's awesome. So why don't you give us a little intro of who you are, what you do, what studio you're with, and all of that.
Yeah, so I'm David Geiser from Coinflip Studios. We're making Ninja Legends, as you just saw the trailer, and got some codes for that. We've been a games company for a little over a year, and we've been working together as a group of 7 guys for a little over 8 years at different companies, all in the games industry.
And yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, so
stuff.
have you guys worked together for, have any of you known each other, I guess, longer than the time you were together? Did you guys work together before, or were you guys kind of an accumulation of, everybody who was good at what they do?
It was an accumulation of everybody that was good at what they do, and we had known each other since we were working together at the first company that we knew each other at, Zynga.
Nice.
And with that, it was kind of like we had this huge group of people we were working with, and it was just slowly whittled down into like who's really good at what they're doing. So we have some really good developers, really amazing technical artists, and that has made the development of Ninja Legends really easy, in most part.
Yeah.
And
Easy,
you're a
yeah.
7-man team, is that correct?
Yeah, 7 people. We have 3 developers, 1 artist, and then a bunch of design and product people.
That is awesome.
Nice. So you guys do all your stuff in-house then, basically. You're not using any outside assets. I mean, some stuff maybe, little stuff, but...
As far as I can tell, we haven't used any outside assets in the game.
Wow.
It's all been
awesome.
in-house.
That's impressive.
That
We
is,
used
yeah.
a number of plugins, but all the code
Sure.
pretty much has been by us. It's been
Wow.
pretty easy to bring that together with the group we have.
So what do you guys actually design in? Do you guys design in Unity or Unreal?
We're in Unity.
Unity?
With
Nice.
all the like grants and such that Unreal's pushing out, it was kind of tempting to switch over, but that was a little too late in the process.
Sure. Yeah, I get
definitely.
I saw you were doing Tetris Effect earlier on the Epic Store, and I'm pretty sure that's what they got.
Yeah,
they're only there.
Sure. Yep,
for sure.
Yeah, it's. Have you? Do you guys do a lot of your designing in VR, or do you guys just do your testing in VR?
Just testing. Sure. We're moving
or something. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Hard.
I really wish we had access to the cameras and all these headsets so that we could say, like, here's a QR code. This is exactly this spot away from where the keyboard is. Yep. And so you know exactly where it is all the time. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would help a lot, I'm sure.
Just not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a developer working on that for, I think, his own game, where he can locate all his objects inside games. So when you grab for them, they're actually there. It's like a type of like flight sim or something. So your sticks are in game. That's
really cool.
But yeah, if you had something like that for keyboards, alone, or mouse, I mean, yeah, that's your biggest thing. But other than that, you're just putting them on and off and on and off and on and off. Yeah. And I get it. It's hard.
With I talked to some of the team at Viveport, and they were working on the Vive Pro Eye and the Vive Pro with the front-facing cameras, and they have started to identify world objects. And they were, and I suggested to them that they should really focus on getting that keyboard so developers can stay in VR the whole time.
That should be their first priority, is test it with that, because if it passes with developers using it daily, then it would work, outside of that. But yeah, that would be nice. I think that would be nice for anybody, because how nice would that be if you could locate, a keyboard and a mouse in your office or, VR room or whatever you're in, just to walk up to it. If you want it with a press of a button, it could just show your desk or your keyboard or whatever that may be. I mean, it would be nice.
It's kind of the same way with the controllers, because a lot of times you put the headset on, and if you don't have the controllers on yet, you can see them sitting over there. So you can go, and I do that quite a bit. I'm like, oh, there's my controllers, and I can grab them with the headset on. So, I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's got to head in that direction one way or another. So,
sure. So when you guys were developing Ninja Legend, did you guys typically use one headset to test on? Were you guys using like a Vive essentially, or did you use,
we had to switch up when we first started like targeting the Quest specifically.
Sure.
Like, that was the very beginning. We wanted to be on the Quest. I had gone to Oculus Connect 5 and got to actually play the Quest there. I played the Super Hot game.
Oh, yeah.
At Connect 5. And I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. Not having all the setup is amazing. I expect this to really take off. Yep. And so we wanted to get on the Quest and didn't have the Quest. Like, nobody had them at that point except the pre-existing games that were already doing well. So we decided, all right, we'll develop the gameplay on the Vive, and then we'll also run it on the Go and get it to run really nicely on the Go.
Sure, because if it runs on that, you could run on Quest then for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
If it runs on the Go, it's definitely running on the Quest.
So you've actually had Ninja Legends playable running on the Go.
Yeah, it actually plays and runs pretty well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's impressive.
Our first demos were actually on the Go.
That's crazy. Jeez, yeah. That's awesome. Man.
Yeah. If we give it maybe another 2 weeks of specific dedicated time to of just one person to the Go, we could release on that as well.
Have you guys thought about that?
We thought about it. Like, we could do Go and Gear and Daydream, and it would work.
So how does that work with just one controller with the Go? I guess you just have like one sword.
You just have to do the one sword, one-handed.
Sure. So you can't do like the bow and arrow and stuff like that, I wouldn't think.
Bow and arrow would be hard. We would probably kind of do a crossbow style.
Okay, yeah.
Sure. A push button.
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
Man, yeah, that's pretty cool. Huh.
That's awesome.
That's interesting. That's a good strategy though. Because absolutely. If it plays on the Go, it's going to handle on the Quest. But that's pretty. So did you have to change textures and stuff?
So most games did. Since we were starting with this in mind, everything in the Steam release is going to be the exact same as in the Quest release.
Wow, nice.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I think every game I've seen that's kind of been ported back to the Quest has like kind of taken away a little bit. It doesn't look as polished, doesn't look as good.
Robo Recall,
that's awesome.
For example.
Yeah.
Robo Recall was a pretty jarring experience when I went into that on the Quest. I'm like, whoa, this is.
Yeah.
I mean, it still runs good. It still looks pretty good, but it's not PC level for sure.
The part that really disappointed me about Robo Recall on the Quest was that they couldn't put enough robots on screen.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
it's really noticeable in the later levels that they just
Yeah.
didn't have the rendering power to put enough of the characters on the screen.
Yeah.
And we saw that pretty early on when we were doing like early will this run on the go tests, is if you put like 8 characters on screen with a fully nice fleshed out scene, that's about as much as you can get.
Yeah.
Huh.
Not a whole lot of processing power. I mean,
Right.
RAM probably to handle all
Yeah.
that. And yeah, I get that.
Sure.
Yep.
So we
Go
are
ahead,
allowed to say about a quest released for.
Yes. It'll be in August, early August.
Nice.
That is as specific as I can get.
That is
That's awesome.
I'm really looking forward
That
to it
is.
just because of the amount of turning and just moving
Oh,
around. Like,
know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be, I mean, it's already awesome to play on the PC VR. I think it's going to be another one that's going to be awesome to play on the Quest just with the free range of movement. It's going to be great to take places to show people VR. I think that's a game that people can just get into and really, I mean, anybody can slash with a sword, you know, there's not a lot of explanation, you know, it's very natural feeling.
So one of the things that we've been really happy with early access is we can get the feedback from the community, and with the accessibility aspect, we saw a couple people having trouble knowing where the enemies were, and I think you even mentioned this earlier that knowing where an enemy is pretty tough. So we're pushing an update today that has little arrows that will appear only in easy or I guess ninja and apprentice modes. If you go up to the master mode, you don't get this help, but
Sure. That's awesome.
arrows will appear when a guy's about to attack you,
Nice.
if you're not facing in his direction.
That's good.
Yeah,
that is because, and that's what's going to be so good about the Quest too, is because you always have to worry about spinning around or worrying if there's somebody behind you or, you know, getting your cord tangled up.
No
so
wires.
you won't have that now.
No cord tangling with the Quest is so nice.
Yeah.
I know, it's so crazy. It is. It's a big step. Have you guys been using like TP cast or anything, like with any Vive headsets to try and get rid of the cords or?
So I stopped by a place called SVVR, Silicon Valley Virtual Reality, all the time, and they had a TP cast for a long time. Used that, and that was really nice. That looking on different Reddit forums, the people who got them started using their Quest less because of the their Vives less because of the whole setup cost is what I saw.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I personally haven't been using that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not the ease of throwing it on and going.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that.
Also, you have to worry about battery packs, and we're really bad in the office about leaving controllers unplugged in. I go to test all the time, and it's just nothing is powered up, and I can't pull the sword anymore. Got to wait for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's rough.
I get that. Yeah, that's got to be hard. We have a hard time with our own stuff doing that, let alone, you know, that many people. That would be hard.
There's also something like going back to something Anton mentioned when you did his interview. You need to keep it in the realm of what you expect your players to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Keeping that cord on, we need to make sure that we're not ripping it out of the wall all the time.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
Makes
totally
sense.
get that.
So what was your guys' inspiration for Ninja Legends? Like how did this idea all come about?
It was a bit of market analysis and determining where the holes in the market were.
Sure.
At this point, there hadn't been really the announcements for a lot of the major Melee games that have been coming out this year. Blade and Sorcery wasn't really much of a thing when we started. A number of like the Beat Saber clones hadn't come out, including Audica, and also what's the Viking one, the Norse one from Oculus.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it now.
Yeah, but that one also hadn't come out and been announced. So we were like, there really needs to be a really nice, tight Melee game.
Yep.
There's a lot of kind of cartoony, weird physics Melee games. Like Gorn's is a great Melee game.
Sure. Yep.
But it's not tight, really precise physics.
Right.
I was just gonna say, yeah, precision. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right, and you're right. It's becoming more and more prevalent that they're out there. But yeah, it's the polish that probably isn't there on a lot of them either. You're right about that. I mean, just to the point where you could like your sword slices and stuff show up like across bodies and everything. I mean, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. So
And
you're not too gory either. You're not like over the top gory, so you're not like really going hard on gore. So that's
you say
good.
that, it's like you're slicing a person in half.
yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Right. But it's a clean slice. So.
It's a clean slice.
So there is a kind of like two things going on there that we kept in mind the whole time. One is if you go enough over the top, kind of a Mortal Kombat finishing move style over the top, then the realism actually drops off. And you don't feel like, oh, that's so gory, that's so real, because it's so over the top.
Right.
And then also there's a bit of the uncanny valley going on with our characters. We wanted to keep them a bit on the cartoony side of the uncanny valley.
Sure.
So that their eyes are actually just reflective. There are no eyes to the characters. You don't really see their faces because they're all in masks. And the details don't tell you this is a person you're slicing in half.
Right.
Like, this is an unfaced ninja you're slicing in half.
Yeah.
You're not feeling bad when you do it. Exactly. I mean, that's You don't want to have memories of actually doing something bad like that, but have fun doing it is all. Yeah, that's awesome. That really is.
I like the slicing. I mean, it is kind of like Fruit Ninja-esque in a sense, but it's very satisfying. I don't know. It just feels really good in game to just.
That was our
crazy.
earliest tech demos. We got the slicing working before we had ninjas, before we had a theme,
Really?
anything else.
Wow.
It was like, this feels great.
It does. It
we
really
need
does
to make
feel
a
good.
game around this.
Yeah, if you can't have that, then what are you left with? So yeah, that's awesome. Huh.
Yeah, one of the technical restrictions that we want to get over eventually, and we might bring this to the PC-based games first, is having multi-slice. So you like slice a guy in half, slice him in quarters, slice him in eighths.
Nice.
Oh wow, yeah, that would
we might be able to do that with the bosses because they're kind of on the screen by themselves at the end there. But having like multiple chunks of a person, they each count as kind of like a character being rendered.
Object on each.
Yeah.
Sure.
So can't get too many of those on screen at once.
Because you already have where you can slice two of them, right? Yeah, you can slice two in one, like one swing, can't you? Or is it one
you can
after
slice
the other?
as many of the characters as you want in a single swing. We keep the characters on screen to about the point where we can handle a few extra slices.
Right.
But we really want like a single character sliced up all over the place. And I think the boss fatality would be a really great place for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a slow-mo where you could just slice it 100 times. I mean, 100.
Yep. Nice.
That's awesome. That is cool.
So what about index controller support and our Knuckles controllers, whatever you want to call them?
I played it on the Knuckles. I haven't played it on the index because SVVR doesn't have an index. They have Knuckles though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does it currently support the Knuckles controllers?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. We've heard from a few people that it's slightly tilted away from the Knuckle because it's trying to replicate the Vive at that point.
Right.
So we need to actually get some in office and fine tune that just a bit.
Tweak it just a little, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've seen some YouTubers make videos using the Knuckles, and they didn't mention it at all.
Okay.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah, you probably get used to it. After you start using it for a minute, it just becomes your new angle. But I do get it. You do notice it sometimes when gun angles especially are off. You know, when I pull up a gun and that angle's 5 degrees off to the right, it's like it just kind of kills the realism of it. But yeah, something like that though probably wouldn't notice as much. But you're having too much fun slicing.
Yeah.
So I guess the update is out now. I take it because I see some people in chat. Well, people in chat are saying that they're downloading the update right now. So I guess that has been pushed out.
I'm not the one pushing it. So
Okay. So you're not for sure. So I'm guessing it is out because people are saying they're downloading the update right now. So
nice.
And
awesome.
DLG27 asked if Ninja Legends is going to be cross-buy. Do you guys have any plans for that or know the answer to that yet? I don't know if you can talk about that yet.
I can't talk about that.
Okay, that's
Sure.
what I was. So.
Yep.
We will let you know once we know.
Too much Oculus-specific platform stuff.
Yep. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, everyone's gonna wonder everything now about what's going on with the Quest and everything, and coming to it. And dates and.
Well,
but at least
August
you did give us a date.
Yeah, August isn't that far away. It's not that far away. So
Yep. That's incredible.
A couple weeks. Yeah, not too long.
That's more than most.
Yeah, the one that we're kind of struggling on right now is getting to PlayStation.
Sure.
Yeah, that process is a bit longer than Steam.
Yeah,
which is real fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. How was that with Steam? Because you guys actually had a pretty early community that you guys started through. I think it was Discord.
Yeah, we've been on Discord and doing a community for a while. The Steam process is very simple. We've done it before. I actually, as just a personal project, released a game in 2017. I'm a terrible artist, so the art on that game is horrible, but the gameplay is okay.
Sure, that's awesome. Yeah, Steam's nice. I know because they let like curators, and you can let curators try it and select them and stuff before, which is nice. Push
That's
beta
especially
keys
nice
out.
for like confirming everybody that emails us is actually a curator. We get
That's
so
true,
many
too.
emails asking for keys, and we're like, all right,
Oh,
let's check their social channels. If they DM us from that social channel, that'll work out. But otherwise, you can't really trust too many of the emails coming in.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure you get a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of how we, have operated, before, at least in our early days, was, just reaching out to developers and stuff. Now we're getting actually developers, contacting us and stuff. But, at first, that's kind of how you have to do it, or being, exactly, a curator and stuff on Steam, which actually we have never truly done. I did sign us up, but we've never really pushed through that process. But yeah, I mean, maybe we should. I mean, you're probably right, though. On a developer side, it is nice to know you don't have to filter out all the
it
people.
helps out a lot.
Sure.
We got a broken version put it up pretty early on one of those like download sites, but we were able to curtail that pretty quickly.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
do their updates? You can push them directly out, can't you? They don't have to be approved or anything like that, right? Yeah.
No, the original store has to be approved. The original game binary has to be approved.
Right.
We had analytics in when we were doing that. I think they spent somewhere around the range of 8 minutes in the game before approving it. So not a exhaustive testing.
Sure.
And they just said, yeah, well, looks fine. Go for it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Probably that it looks good, has menus, all the controls work and stuff.
Doesn't crash your computer, isn't running any bad processes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you guys develop on? Speaking of computers, what do you guys try and develop or shoot for like, GPUs? Do you guys shoot for like low end, or do you guys try like use high end for developing?
So since we're targeting the Quest specifically, like that bar is so low that pretty much any PC architecture is going to run it just fine.
Sure.
That's awesome.
We do see a little bit on like the 960, not quite handling it great, but it still runs at pretty much perfect frame rate the entire time.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Jeez.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that is. So is that what you just tested on, or you actually develop on even those?
We develop on a pretty nice, I think it's a 1080. So decent hardware there.
Sure.
Then we push to the Go and Quest for like the really heavy, like, is this going to run well standards? Although the mobile architecture is a bit different.
Sure.
So we can't exactly rely on that. We got burned a little bit early, like midway through the process from one of those differences. With PC, there's like a shader you can use instead of doing like alpha where it's kind of a foggy see-through. It's just a cutout around the edge. And that is so much better on performance for PC.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter at all on mobile.
So it's not actually a particle. It's more just a filter.
It's a way of rendering something.
An overlap.
So instead of instead of a particle being a foggy dot, it's a dot with a cutout.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
For PC, it makes a big difference, but for the Android-based systems, it makes no difference whatsoever.
Wow. Huh. That's crazy. Yeah. You would think that I get what you're saying, because they probably preload some stuff in or whatever they have to do.
Just how are they checking the alpha channel on the render?
Yeah. Huh. That's crazy.
That's awesome. So we got a question real quick. So Steve from Conquer Reality said, can Dave recommend what size toy swords I should buy to use in game? It would help me not look so silly when playing.
So I think where the swords we have in Unity units, which I believe is roughly a meter, is 1.25. So that's like 1.25 meters for the swords we're using in the game.
Okay, so that should help him out a little bit there. I'm guessing he wants to attach them to the controllers, or I'm guessing that's what he wants to do.
Mixed
there.
reality.
That should work.
Absolutely.
I would say be very careful at that point.
Yeah.
With throwing things around.
Have a good sized play space. You might take and make sure the door is locked so nobody walks in. You might take somebody out.
No hanging fans either.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
I'm looking forward to that video. That's for sure.
Make sure you get a real wide angle lens so we can see all the destruction too.
That's one of the other issues we've been trying to address, is the people punching things within the game. We added a couple settings that make it a bit better, so there's one setting you turn on which shows the bounds of your area. So
nice.
very specifically drawn out bounds. On the Quest, this is amazing because it's the actual like line that you drew in the floor, and it is just now a line on the ground that's always there. It's not too intrusive, but you know where you're bound the entire time.
That's good. Huh. It's nice with that too because you're creating the bounds, so it's nice to know. You can put a notch where the doorway is or anything like that, so you can actually know which direction you're even facing in game, which actually really does help. Just
I gotta say, Steam doesn't do that. They don't give us that like perfect outline.
Yeah,
but Oculus gives that to us in the API.
Steam does what, a square? I think you can.
Steam gives us the square.
Yeah,
and that's guaranteed to be within the drawn outline.
Yep. But even Steam, I have an issue a little bit with the Steam boundaries. I feel like they come on a little too early for me. I wish I could actually push out or how soon they start to bring up the boundaries. I feel like sometimes it takes me out of all that, and I don't like that. But some people do need the boundaries, and you're right that will take out stuff, or people the first time playing it, because I know people go hard playing stuff like that, and they'll fall over or go right through something and take out a lamp or something. I mean, it happens,
Yeah. So a really interesting point on that for our play testing. We went to a couple larger play testing, showing off your game events, and again, the Silicon Valley Virtual Reality SVVR had an event at GDC where they put people in the basement of a nightclub, and they were serving drinks, and it was actually a nightclub basement where people could come down wasted.
Oh man!
And there were maybe 30 different people showing off their games in this basement.
Oh my gosh.
We were setting up our rig, getting ready to go, and we were in the very middle of the floor, just by where we were assigned. So
that sounds amazing. I wish I was there.
It was an amazing night. We got such good feedback. Man.
I bet.
We were all body blocking for the person playing the game. we each took like 3 to 4 punches.
I was gonna say, I'm sure everybody was getting hit.
Yeah, one of the last ones that I was there for before I headed out was a really buff guy who was absolutely wasted, and he was also a martial artist, so he got super into it.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
He was going ham the entire time. I got punched in the chest real hard, but he was loving it. Also, like most people when they do that, like they'll punch you, like, oh, sorry. He didn't even flinch. He just kept going.
Right. He thought it was somebody he was actually probably
that just added to the immersion. There was some resistance in those punches.
In this game.
I just want to know how you didn't get this on video. Like that, this could have been the greatest. Oh, do you? Oh man, that would be awesome video.
So was this like an invite only? Was this people from the industry, or was this open to like tickets?
This was pretty open. Just pretty much anybody could get a ticket to come into the event.
Huh. That's awesome.
It was a GDC after party, so you didn't even have to have a GDC pass.
Man, that's cool.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
Hey, I might have to come out to that one next year.
That's a whole new meaning to a drunken bar fight. That's for sure.
Incredible. That's great. That has to be a pretty big venue, though, actually, to have. You say there were like 30 different vendors, or?
Well, it was about 30 different people. Nobody else was nearly as intense as we were.
Sure.
I think Light Strike Array was probably the second most intense, and they're more like a shoot a bow kind of game.
Sure.
That's awesome. They do have some sword swinging, but it's not as much.
Gosh, that would be funny to videotape that whole thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yep. So definitely, if you guys are watching this, maybe don't drink too much and play Ninja Legends.
Yeah, for sure.
Just for the safety of you and everyone
around. Yeah. I actually much prefer the rug method instead of the boundaries.
That was great.
Yeah, I much prefer that to have something in the center of the room, and you just kind of learn it after a while. After a while playing, you kind of learn, when you're on that rug, and when you go off of it, that's a no-no, And I prefer that because I don't like to see the bounds as much. So that is, if you have the room for it, that is definitely what I prefer.
Those interlocking rubber mats and stuff work well. You know, like a 6x6 section of it or something, they do work good.
What I found is my favorite with the Quest is if you turn off the bounds, but then set it up for standing only or sitting only. As you step too far away, it goes to the black and white see-through.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I always have a hard time though. I feel like the boundaries always pop up even if I reach out for something so quick. I wish you could just expand that circle, in increments just to make it a little bit bigger. I've got a pretty big reach and stuff, and I just feel like it takes me out of what I'm doing. So if I'm slicing somebody, I don't want it to pop up in front of me and block what I'm seeing. And now it's like, well, now what am I doing? Or am I going to hit something? So that's the only reason why not that I hate boundaries, they're great, but I wish you could change either the opacity of it or the size or something. But
custom.
So
interactive games are hard.
If you turn the boundaries off completely, then in the game, turn the bounds back on, you'll get the outline in the floor.
Oh, just in game, right? True.
Just in the game. And then
That's
any
true.
of the like high up boundary stuff won't appear.
Huh, good point. And then you always know where your center, so even if you get off it a little bit, it shows up, you know where the center of your room is, and boom, right back to it. That is a good idea.
Yeah.
That is.
We also included, I don't know if this was in when you played it, but there's just this circle, kind of bluish circle in the ground that's the center of your play space.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
helps out
it's
a little bit.
always there, even if you don't turn the extra bounce stuff on, it's just always there.
It does. It helps. It really does. I don't like stuff in that usually isn't part of the game, but something like that, when you're moving around, spinning around, you get lost so quick. You almost have to sometimes. You really do.
It's very minimal, and you don't really notice it unless you're trying to look for it. So it doesn't break the immersion too much.
That's good.
Yeah, that is. That's
Good
awesome.
stuff.
So what about add-ons to the game? I know you guys have talked about a little bit of stuff, but I know you don't want to probably say too much.
There's so much stuff we want to do. I'm gonna caveat all this. We're not committing to doing any of this.
Right. This is just ideas.
Kind of like the ideas
Yep.
that we've come up with so far. One of them is kind of along the lines of stealth, and we want, like, it's a ninja game that has no stealth in it right now. We want to have a version where you are doing stealthy stuff. This does kind of break one of our core tenets of no locomotion. So it will be a bit higher of a bar for motion sickness and like people being really used to virtual reality to play this mode. But the stealth aspect of games like Budget Cuts, I really loved because of that. And I want to get our game to somewhere along those lines where you can sneak up, like sit behind the T-stand, and then jump up and stab the guy in the back as he's walking by.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, even if you had a simple box right in front of you that you could duck behind, and then they would slow down and walk and be like, I don't know where he's at, and then all of a sudden you jump up, and then they all run after you, and
One of my favorite games of all time is Tenchu: Wrath of Heaven, where you're this ninja just going around doing all these stealth assassin kills. It's really fun, really great game, and I would love to have our game be kind of like that, but in VR.
And stealth works so good in VR for some reason. I don't know what it is, but the stealth aspect in VR really is one of those.
And the slow motion. Like when you can slow it down, I love the feeling of that. Like just being able to slow-mo slice somebody like that.
You feel like a movie star. It makes you feel like a movie star. It really does.
Yep.
One of the things we want to be very careful about with this is the jumping aspects. Those are the big motion sickness causers.
Yeah.
And so much of the ninja stealth kind of lexicon is you're on a roof and you're going to jump down and stab somebody as you jump down.
Sure it is. Yep.
But if we do the slow motion, it may not cause as much motion sickness. Sure. But got to be careful in there.
Right.
Or maybe if you have stuff like passing you or you're going by stuff close that people are relative to objects, that are still close to them. It's that like free fall where there's nothing around you that makes your stomach go. So maybe if like there's smoke or something just to maybe slow it down a little bit.
Vision as well. That always helps.
Yeah, I know for us, we always hate the tunnel vision, the vignetting and stuff because we're so into VR. We play it all the time. We don't want that. Yeah. But I know a ton of people.
I think it's good to have the options. It's good to have options because some people want that stuff and some people don't. So the option to turn it on and off. But I like pushing the boundaries. I like jumping off a building because I've been playing it for a long time now. So I like the feeling of, like falling and all that different stuff. But not everybody can handle that. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially, I don't jump off buildings, every week, so it's nice to get to do it in a game, when it's raining.
I'm pretty sure you were pushed out of a window at a young age, though, weren't you? Isn't that what happened to you?
It was only 3 stories.
Yeah, that's a true story too. So actually, you do jump out of windows occasionally. It's just been a long time.
Yeah,
defenestration. Is
right, exactly. It's horrible. That's why I keep going back for more, man. I did it once and I got the bug.
That was actually one of my first experiences in VR, just jumping out a window.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So in the DK2, we were trying to play Half-Life 2.
Oh, yeah.
And because it's just really not made for VR, you're going upstairs, jumping out of windows. We had 3 people like kind of switching off as we got motion sickness. We only made it about 45 minutes into the game, even doing that.
That's great.
Like one of the early things in there is like you're running from the police and you're going up the stairs and then you have to jump out the window. And that sequence was just unbelievably motion sickness causing.
I remember
I wasn't used to VR at that point. None of us were.
I remember, I think it was Alt Space when we first got the VR headsets. We would do the where you teleport up into the trees and then you jump off. We would just do that like nonstop because you would lose your stomach every time. But it was like when you were a little kid.
Like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like you're a little kid and your parents drive over the humps in the road and you tell them to go faster. So it's the same feeling. Like
it was too.
And that was when we first got them. So we thought it was the greatest thing ever. But
I know it's the little things, you know, that
really
get you by sometimes.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
for sure.
So have you guys built any like fun Easter eggs or anything in your games? Have you guys ever talked about doing that? Or I know you don't have to say because it wouldn't be an Easter egg.
There are a lot of I wouldn't know if they're Easter eggs or not, but we built in the secrets. So there's a whole like menu of secrets you can unlock.
Oh, yeah.
And we have little like hints of how you would unlock them, like shoot the moon.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
That one is a little bit obvious. You just go to the level with a moon. There's a couple of them, and you shoot at it, and that will unlock that secret.
That's cool.
My favorite right now is a combination of them, which is the DK mode, the giant heads, and then you make the enemies tiny. So there's these tiny characters with giant heads running at you.
I love that. It's so good because all the classic like the old school games, they all built that stuff in, you know, and whether people found them or not, you know, there could be some still out there. So that's
GoldenEye
awesome.
is my like go-to.
Oh yeah, GoldenEye was
when I saw the big heads and stuff that you guys did, that's the first thing I thought of was GoldenEye. I'm like, oh man, it's so awesome. I
played that game way too much as a kid.
Yep, I agree. So
I think we all did. Yeah, that was the greatest game ever.
I still have the song and stuff. But yeah, that's definitely one of my classic goes. I still have it hooked up. My TV in my own personal living room has a 64 with GoldenEye in it right now. So that's
such a good
definitely
game.
goes.
Great.
I know. What else you got, Sean? I know you had some stuff written down there.
I think we've gotten through most of it. Let me see.
It's always hard.
If we have any more questions from chat, I've been trying to keep an eye on it, but it's hard sometimes to keep up. But
I know.
I've been trying to get the questions in there as I see them pop up. But
I know. Sadly, I haven't been. Yeah, so we do appreciate you coming on so early too. And I'm not letting you go here. I've just, you know, I know it's early for you and stuff, and it takes a toll. But being that you're early, that's lucky because it is. A lot of developers are in California. I mean, a lot of people we talk to are out there, and you know, for us being on the East Coast, exactly, right. And it's just hard, you know, because for us to have somebody on, it takes, you know, commitment on your guys' end.
Yeah.
And we know you guys are
in Atlanta, so I'm super used to it.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They call you and stuff. They're it's only that early there.
I've trained them.
Yeah.
They can call like at 10:30 their time, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just give me that.
Yeah, we had a little bit of trouble getting Anton to wake up that early to come on. He's like, "Oh man, that's really early." But he did make it on, and he had his coffee in hand, so I think he made it a little extra strong that morning. But that worked.
So you guys always in office when you guys are developing typically, or do you guys do stuff from home at times?
We're pretty big work from home culture. We've been working with each other for so long, it doesn't matter that much. We have an office like in Soma, in SF. It's like right next to Whole Foods, so it works out pretty easy for lunch.
Yeah,
nice.
And
that's nice.
It gets a little awkward with, you know, multiple people playing VR. We can't have all 7 people playing at the same time in that office.
Right. Yeah.
That takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, for
sure it does. Oh yeah, that's true.
But just working from home means everybody can be in their headsets at all at once.
Yeah, and locked in too. You're concentrated then on just what you're doing instead of like somebody grabbing you being like, "Hey, can you come check this out? Like, I don't know if I'm doing this, you know, writing this code line right, or you know, whatever that may be."
Yeah, So it kind of depends on the phase of development and what's going on. If we all know exactly what we need to do and all the tasks in Trello are very obviously set out in the right order, and we have a couple weeks of heads down mode, work from home is definitely the way to go. But if it's like, well, we've got through all our tasks and now we need to figure out what's next, we got to be in the office for that.
Yeah.
So we talked about trying the VR office, but we haven't gotten there.
Right. Yeah. That'd be crazy. So what was your guys' hardest thing to overcome for getting this game to market? Like, what was your biggest, hill to climb, I guess I'd say?
The biggest hill to climb was definitely for the Quest getting in touch with Oculus.
Sure.
And I can talk like up to that point. Like, once we were officially in the program, can't talk about any of that.
No. Right.
But up to that point, I can give you like the history of getting there. And that kind of starts with having been going to SVVR for the last 3 years. They have a co-working space that I've been using. When I first got into VR and VR development, I was looking online for what's like a meetup that I can go to near me. And it's like, oh, SVVR, where's that? Oh, that's 3 blocks from my house.
That's far.
Yeah.
It was absurdly convenient. So I went there, and like the first time I went, like they announced, we're opening a co-working space.
Nice.
So, okay, I guess I'm doing my VR development here.
Yep, I'll sign my name on this time.
Yeah, and they've been great to work with for the last couple of years. They moved to a bit further away, which is not as convenient, but it's still great. They have all the nice little gadgets, except the Index. They haven't gotten the Index yet.
Sure.
But all of the headsets that I wanted to try it out on, multiple rigs, it was great for testing. And then one of those people left and went to Oculus. So that was a great connection.
Yeah, I was going to say, there you go.
Yeah.
Push stuff away for you, yeah.
Yeah, he got us into the START program, which isn't the Quest program. And then I was still talking to multiple people there. I wanted to like actually physically go to Oculus so I could sit down and have face-to-face. It's like,
I agree, yeah.
You can't just go there and sit down with somebody. That's not how it works.
Yeah, sure.
But they were hosting for the Global Game Jam. And they were hosting it at the Oculus building at Facebook. Not just Facebook, but at the Oculus building.
They're going to be there. I mean, around, yeah.
The Oculus team is going to be there.
Nice.
And they're opening the doors to anybody to come.
Huh.
And it's like,
man, yeah, right.
Got it, easy.
Yeah.
So I went to the Global Game Jam, made a little VR game, talked to the Oculus people there. That got us a meeting at GDC with some of the more important people on the developer side, not yet on the store or product side. So we went to the GDC meeting, and they're like, what are your questions? Like, well, we don't really have any questions. Just play your game. It's like, this runs on the go. It'll run on the Quest. Just play our game. It's like, this is pretty good.
So you guys rolled in with a Go and handed it to him and said, basically, here, like, play this?
Well, we rolled in with our, like, giant backpack rig going.
Right.
We didn't want him playing on the Go because it doesn't have the full experience of the 6 degrees of freedom.
Yeah.
So we got him on the Rift at that point.
That's cool.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
We have like a picture of our GDC meeting with them up. And so we got to talk to more of them there, and then that got us the really important meetings.
Sure.
That's awesome.
So you had to get them for just to get apply into Oculus, did you have to have a finished, polished game to give to them just to be able to work with them, basically?
No, you don't have to have a finished, polished game. What you need is like the team that can execute on the vision of the game.
Sure.
Like, having a proven team is pretty important in that application process, as well as like showing that you know the market wants this.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So we had already pretty much done that, and the team is a game industry veteran team, so it's no questions there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's got to be a hard approval. I mean, all of that, and a lot of it is, it's connections, it's being at the right place, it's going to, like the GDC events and stuff, the networking. Have you guys worked with other developers as well, or not really?
Not really. We've talked to a number of them, at the events, but we haven't worked directly with them.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I know some do like to, and some don't, like to waver out from, their own studio and stuff. But there are a lot of really good developers, because everyone's been through the same stuff. Everyone's developed through all the same trials and tribulations, all the approval processes. Everyone's dealt with Steam or Oculus or both, So it's tough. And it's those little tricks that you learn from some of those guys who have done it in the past that definitely helps, I'm sure.
I mean, kind of going back to our market analysis when we were like, what does the market need? One of the biggest, you got this right moments was when Shell Games said, "Oh, we're doing before Until You Fall," and you're like,
"Oh yeah,
okay." So one of our game design gurus has said this is what the market needs, because we have the stack of the Shell lenses for going through. It's like, all right, let's think about the player today, and we do that at our morning stand-ups. So for him to do a VR melee combat game that's pretty similar to ours in scope, it was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that is awesome. So we do have some questions rolling in. I'm ask these real quick. So Conquer Reality said, "What are Dave's thoughts on the future of VR?"
So there are two directions that I see VR going. One is the super high end, and that is the index right now, and that is a direction that will continue to be pushed forward, but it will be a smaller subset of people.
Yep.
And then there's the super open kind of Quest-like experiences that will be more and more popular. And that I expect to get better over time, but it's never going to match that super high end, because the super high end is going to start getting into a lot more fine hand tracking like the Quest has with the Knuckles. It's going to get into a lot more haptics, a lot more eye tracking, just more features being added on, where I expect the Quest and things in that direction to be less controllers, more just hand tracking for the ease of it, and a lot more open access. And then there's the far future where everything's starting to come back together, and you get the neural implants.
Yeah, right.
right.
Yeah,
the plug-in. Yep.
I think it was MIT in last month came out with a news article saying they have given blind people sight with direct neural implants.
That's crazy.
So there's a bionic eye that's not connected to the optic nerve at all.
Sure.
And then there's an implant directly in the brain that gives them kind of a light point cloud of where things are.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy to
I know.
think about.
Geez, yeah. Could you imagine if that was VR? I mean, oh man, I know that's distant future, but I mean, it's got to be possible.
Not too distant.
Yeah, I don't think it's as distant as we think. That's the scary part.
Is coming up, and the audio stuff for the neural implants already there. Cochlear implants have been a thing for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's coming. That's for sure. You're right about that. But man,
I went to the SVR meetup on Thursday, and kind of in this vein, one of the scary things with VR is, since it's so new and since people are pushing boundaries so much, the security is not terribly good.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. And this guy, I forget who it was, but he had a demonstration on hacking in VR. And it was a bit scary.
Yeah.
All of the stuff he showed had already been fixed, and he was working in the developer environment to be able to show it. But he was if you had joined somebody else's Steam home, he could take control of a computer.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
You didn't have to host it or do anything else, but if you had just joined the Steam home environment, it was able to take control of your computer.
That's scary.
Jeez. That's crazy.
Scary
I know.
Now imagine that, but now it's your neural implants that are doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
And Elon Musk just talked about that not too long ago, right? Talked about the Neuralink. I think it was earlier this week or something like that.
I have to look that up. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so there are articles out there about him talking about that. So I think there's obviously people working on it already. It's in the works already. So.
More than we probably know.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
I just hope it's more of a distributed open source kind of matrix and not a lockdown corporate matrix. That would not be good.
True that.
Sadly, I don't know. I'm not sure. Just because the people with the processing power and the money to back it and everything might be the people that would lock it down. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope not.
So Paradise Decay said, what are other sword type VR games that you have played, and have they took any influence ideas from them?
We've taken a lot of influence from the different games we played. So we've played Blade and Sorcery, we've played Gorn. I'm looking forward to playing Until You Fall, I guess is the word there. Sirento. A lot of those we took small bits. We wanted the controllers to always be one-to-one mapped to your hands. So some of the Blade and Sorcery has it so that it holds your hand back if you try to swing through something. We didn't want any of that. We wanted it to always be where your hand is. Gorn, they bend the weapons instead, so all those rubbery weapons. We didn't want to do that either. We wanted it to just be like very simple and easy to understand there. We did take the kind of surround enemies from Gorn. We like that style of combat. We know some of our players don't like the 360. That gets a little bit overwhelming at times. Hopefully the arrows will address that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, but you guys start, I mean, the first waves and stuff only basically come from one direction. So
yeah,
you're being
get the 360
introduced
to level 6.
Right, yeah.
Right, you're being introduced slowly into it. So it's not like you're just getting blasted with.
You're not overwhelmed right at first. You know, it builds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, which is good. Yeah.
And even in later levels, the 360 doesn't happen in all of them. Level 6 is by far the worst in that 360 surround aspect. It's the level for the 360 surround as far as we're concerned.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then we took a lot of inspiration from Beat Saber as well, and Fruit Ninja. Like the slicing and that kind of component that really came straight from the Fruit Ninja stuff. And we were like, this feels great. Let's do this.
It does.
Yeah. It does.
For a while, we were thinking of doing a Beat Saber like ninja slicing game where it's to the beat.
Oh, right.
I'm really glad we didn't do that.
Yeah.
It adds a level of complexity to the game and a level of polish on the music that we weren't really as a team prepared to do. I think audio is the biggest weakness we have as a studio. So having that as a core component wasn't a good idea.
And it becomes more like a wave game because you're counting then on that beat and you know it's coming. So it's not the randomness that you feel with how it is now, which I actually like, which I think is better. I think it plays better for the game, being more of a pure ninja game instead of like an arcade style, which is what I actually like. I like the simulation style stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah. And then I would say, especially with the other Beat Saber clones that have come out, those are really scary, especially Audica. That one is kind of when this company gets into the game, you don't want to be into music anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
So they're the company that makes Rock Band.
Right.
Harmonix. So you don't want to compete with them on the music front.
Yeah,
they already have all that locked down.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they have licenses and stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's hard.
For sure. So, Conquer Reality said, how about what comes next after Ninja Legends? I don't know if you guys have any plans yet or can talk about anything yet, or... We
have vague notions. We want to do a couple updates that really expand the scope of what the game is. In that is the stealth. We would love to have stealth. That may be Ninja Legends 2 if we want to like keep the movement very stationary. So we may push that off further. We don't see any really good archery games on the Quest, so we may include a mode that's like that. We already have the bow and arrow in there, and if we just have the ninjas attacks like the gates or something as you're defending them, then it'll be similar to longbow or quiver or any of those.
Yeah.
And having that on the Quest would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would absolutely love to get an asynchronous multiplayer game going on the Quest or going on VR in general. Something along the lines of Dungeon Keeper or think Clash of Clans, where you're building up your stuff and then you can go and raid other people's built up areas.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Or like you're a dungeon master and you built your dungeon out in Dungeon Keeper.
I mean, a lot of it's like the stuff I feel like that should come to Quest is more, of the broader spectrum of what people like. So, I mean, not to say that we should look to it, but like mobile games, those style of games put in VR for the masses would be huge, in my opinion, because that's what people like. They like that kind of stuff. Or, even if it's one-to-one interaction or, multiple people interaction, that's what they want with all these mobile games. So you put that on something that somebody can throw on their head and they're now in that game, what they play on mobile, because those people that are buying Quest, maybe they haven't played PC games or PlayStation or anything like that.
Pretty much everybody's playing mobile, yeah.
Right,
yeah. Exactly. But everybody's played mobile. I mean, the market's huge, the amount of money. So something like that and would be awesome.
You were talking earlier about the multiplayer issue, and going asynchronous multiplayer like Clash of Clans gets around that by so easily. Yeah, because instead of having to have everybody online at the same time, you just log in whenever you want to play. You build up your base, you send your help to your allies, and then you go raid somebody else's dungeon, and then they come back, they saw you raided, they can retaliate if they want, all that kind of stuff. And I think that would be so much fun.
And I can't think of anything in VR that is like that right now. Is there? Nothing I can think of.
There's nothing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it's a huge hole in the market, and I would love to build that.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we haven't. It makes so much sense. It makes a lot of sense, really.
I think it comes down to who is going into the market to develop, and a lot of it is more of the PC developers are coming into the market. Our team is from mobile development, so we've been doing mobile development and like Facebook Flash development before, and all that kind of stuff with like manage your little city and get your daily bonus and that. That's where we come from. Ninja Legends is like, this is something that we want to be really far away from that so that we can have fun in making this game, and it'll be very different. But we want to get into that with the virtual reality market because it's a huge place that we can really raise the bar.
I think that would be great. I really do like that. I mean, just being able to throw it on, going in, and it's totally different. And now, you're back, you do a little bit, you go in, because some people, especially new to VR, aren't going to spend hours in a game, playing it. They want to go in for a half an hour casually, and then maybe later that night, throw back on, go again. I think you're onto something there. I really do.
I think that's awesome idea.
I really think that would be fun. Yeah.
I think chat agrees. They're all.
Yeah. Everyone's like, let's do this now. Like,
asynchronous multiplayer makes a huge difference when there's a low number of players.
Sure.
Yeah, it just makes so much sense. Like, I'm kind of sitting here and like dumbfounded because it's not something I've ever even really thought about before, but it really just makes so much sense.
And it's a whole different market, mobile, like the strategy of, people picking up their phone and playing for a minute and putting them back down. People with headsets do that too, especially
Quest.
So I think
especially
Quest. Man. Yeah.
Because, Quest, you just throw it on, you play for a little while, you take it off, and you're done. The PC VR, there is a lot more setup. Even with Rift S, it's a lot more simplified with no external sensors, but you're still turning on a PC or opening up the stuff, It's still... the Quest is just so quick. You throw it on, you're in VR in no time. So it makes a lot of sense, but...
So when you want to announce this multiplayer game, please come back because I want to know. I want to be the first one in. I'm excited about this.
All right.
Yeah,
we're on it now.
We need like a month ahead of time. Me and Tyler can build our fortress. That way, we can have an advantage compared to everybody else.
How cool would that be though? Like to be tabletop and then go down into it and like be on it and see it and like see stuff shooting or drive something over and then destroy something and you're out like, or be timed. Like you can only be in it for 30 minutes. And you got to get in and get all your stuff done in 30. Like, there's so many cool ideas. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, if we want to make it faster, we can do it ninja themed, where you're like doing your castle and you have to go raid somebody else's castle and ninja village, and all their cool minions are around, and gotta stealth up to the top and collect the treasure.
So this isn't a teaser, right? You're not like not telling us.
We haven't committed to anything yet. We need to finish releasing the game.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh man, that'd be it's so good. I'm ready for it now. I think everyone in chat is too. Everyone's like
That's awesome. So.
All right. Well, I think that's about all we got. Is that all you got, Sean, on your list?
Yeah, I think so. I think we touched a bunch of stuff. So we will definitely have to have you back on, though. It's been a lot of fun. So.
It's been fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And
you
open our eyes too, I think, with the multiplayer. Now I'm going to be thinking about games in a whole new light from here on out.
And we will be keeping everybody up to date too with Ninja Legends when some updates get pushed out and everything else will. So if you haven't, joined the Ninja Legends Discord as well as our Discord, we'll try to keep everything up to date. And we'll obviously be talking about it more on the Coffee and VR show. So.
Yep, and definitely coming to Quest early August.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Keep an
too.
eye
Yeah,
out for that
that's
for
super
sure.
Cool. Yep.
Thanks,
That's
guys.
great.
Thanks
All
a
right,
lot,
Thanks
thanks,
for having
David.
me on.
Appreciate it.
Tell the other guys we said hi. Later.
Will do.
Later.
Bye.
Good stuff.
Man, that's so cool. I'm so now I want that multiplayer, man. Like that's what I want. That's all I'm gonna think
It's
about.
a great idea. It's a great
so
idea.
cool. I know.
So,
Well, and you don't think of it, like they're a development studio that's coming from, originally mobile. So that's, it's a whole different mindset what those guys develop for,
Yeah.
just
compared
totally
to the PC
different.
end, for sure.
Yeah,
So.
and I think we need that a little bit because right now it's everybody who's like wanting to work on their own projects, single guy development companies, and doing what they can. To where it just that whole new mindset. That's where it's at.
Well, it seems like they got a pretty good group of guys there working on that team, with a lot of talent and stuff. And I mean, Ninja Legends is a ton of fun, and I need to get back into it, and I'm really looking forward to it on the Quest because there's just so much movement, and the game is a ton of fun. I mean, it really is. So I know we gave out a couple codes. Hopefully, some people can let us know once they get in there in the comments. And I know Paradise Decay has done a video on it, and he is a Steam curator. And he gave it a recommendation on Steam, so it is it's really cool. So
it's just a well put together game. It's not one that they just like threw together. Every aspect was thought about, and that's why I wanted to ask him about like the Easter eggs. Like real development companies put that stuff in there.
Yeah, and they do have a lot of cool little hidden stuff. I think it's a lot of things you can do different than just the core gameplay. A lot of things you can change up. With the big head mode and all different kinds of stuff. Yeah. And to me, like I just love the slicing. Like, there's a lot of cool weapons in there, but I don't know what it is. That slicing aspect that they've put together, it just feels so good. And that was like when I first went into that game, that was what got me. I was like, I mean, just like even the training, like in the very beginning, just the slicing, it's just very rewarding. Like, I don't know what it is.
And it's crazy because stuff like that, and like he was even talking about the bow. So I wouldn't normally be like, I wouldn't really play a game that did that. But like when you're in VR doing it, totally different.
Yeah, I love
a
bow and arrow in VR. Bow and arrow in VR is amazing, I think. And swords too. Like it's just some things just translate so well to VR and the controller layout and how it all works. And that's swords and bows and stuff is one of those things that just,
and it's like there's no controls, like you just hold the sword, you know what I mean? There's no button presses, there's no having to like rotate or do anything if you don't want to. Like it's just straight swords. Like that's awesome.
Well, if you want to play just straight swords, there's a lot more weapons.
What I'm saying is like you don't have like over an abundance of controls with
you don't have
and switching stuff.
Right. And right now there's the movement. Your movement is just your physical space spinning around and moving around. So there is no locomotion aspect. So there really should be no aspect of motion sickness at this point. If they add the updates for the stealth movement and stuff like that, and that is, hopefully they can get that in there because that is one thing I definitely look forward to in the game. I think that would be awesome.
That would be cool. I know. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm super glad he came on. If he's still watching or something, thanks, David. We really do appreciate it. Great guy to talk to.
Definitely, that was fun. We will have him back on for sure.
I know, 7 guys in their studio. That's pretty impressive, actually. But that's why they, push this game out in a year since they started developing it?
When did they? I can't remember when he said they started, but it was
I want to say it was like quick. A year, but yeah, I mean, really, that's pretty tough to do to have a pretty polished game out like that. So yeah, that's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, let's see. What else did we have?
So, Uber Wolfie said, just got my grips, but they're not perfect. They're for the older Rift. I think he's talking about the Mamut grips. So he'll have to reach out or let us know if he's having some issues. Maybe we can help.
Yeah, I thought they actually worked for both of them. So actually, here I can even kick over. Let's see if I do this right and not cancel my phone call here. So.
And the VR Mang said, not 100% sure, but the new he knows Mamut grips have a new box design. Maybe actual grips were changed as well. I don't believe the grips were changed. This is the new box that Tyler's showing now.
Yeah, so these are the new boxes, and you can see it does have before they weren't really, packaged nicely. I mean, it's a little hard to see with my lighting here.
Yeah.
But it is boxed really nicely. Yeah, I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any change.
I've actually used them on the CV1 because they do work for the CV1. Even on the box there, it says for Rift, Rift S, and
That's
Quest.
What I was just
and I've actually
say.
used mine on all 3, and I haven't had any issues. I think I can't remember if the CV1 they may have fit a little tighter. It's one way or the other. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but one of them they did fit a little bit tighter. It was a little bit harder to get them in, but wasn't a big deal. But
Sure. I wonder if you could heat them up a little bit, like if they were just. But it's hard because then I'm gonna ruin them,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not sure.
and some people were saying like even like the batteries, like they thought it was tough to take them off and everything. I actually had I
Yeah,
had
they come
zero
off pretty
issue.
easy.
I
And
think I did a
know,
battery change in 10 seconds. I think
yeah,
I counted it the one day. I'm like,
yeah.
I loosened it. I didn't take it completely off. I just took the strings off the bottom, loosened it, and it came right off. So I
Greg's
don't know.
VR said casual apto placement there with your
What app though?
yeah.
Probably should have pushed that over a little bit.
So he said exactly those. They work 90% well, but you can tell it's for the older ones, not bad. So maybe he's having a little bit of trouble fit with the newer controllers, but I haven't had any issues. I mean, they are a little bit longer than the controllers, but a lot of people like that because a lot of people have bigger hands, so they like that little bit of extra length on the grip compared to the controller. But
yeah, I have pretty large hands and
Yeah.
I find them very comfortable. I mean, but
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's different. Again, we've talked about this. Everyone has opinions and fits stuff differently. Hands are different, face are different.
So it's hard to say one
it
thing
is
will
hard.
work for everybody. But if he is having any issues, he can join the Discord, and I mean, there's a ton of people on there. We can help him out on there too. See what's going on. But
Yeah, these do. The
Yeah,
packaging is nice now. The packaging really is nice. I'm impressed by
So
it.
Mawaters1WT said first couple of battery changes were a pain, now easier. Nuisance to pull the cords out and put them back in, but no problem on the Quest. So actually, Mame fan was saying I think he commented on one of our videos that he actually isn't attaching them to the ring, to the tracking ring. So I'm curious exactly how he's doing that. He's I guess just using the top part of the grip and not actually wrapping it around the ring. So we'll have to try to get some pictures from him on that.
Interesting. Yeah. So then you could just slide it off or.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
probably.
cool.
As long as it sticks on, I guess, the controller.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I mean, we should be having some videos coming up of the Apto, hopefully. And so we'll have that out pretty soon.
I have not even opened it.
Yep,
It's
he's
just,
been waiting to open it.
sitting
So
there. It smells new.
I have mine on the way. It hasn't got here yet.
So
hopefully
good.
it comes
I
to
just
its
like
correct
the
address.
fact that you can use it for everything.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited for. Like,
Yep.
I can use it with Quest. I can use it with Index. Like, I can hit the total range in one gun stock, which is awesome. Minus, I know you have to take the brackets off and go through all that.
Around.
But I'm not limited. You know what I mean?
And with some of the controllers, you can actually
about.
mount it to the top of the stock or the bottom of the stock. You can change it up. So the customizability of the gun stock is actually really cool. So I can't wait to get my hands on mine. And I haven't had any gun stock yet for the Index. So I'm really looking forward to a stock for that. So
Me too.
Definitely.
I know. It's the one thing I'm missing in contractors, man. It's that gun stock.
True that. And hopefully we can do another play session too with some people maybe in the coming weekends. I'm not sure when yet, but we'll try to schedule something at some point in time. We'll get on and play some more games with everybody. So I actually missed out on that.
How about tonight? Now.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, man. I got my gun stock.
Yeah.
I want to play.
You got to get a video putting that thing together and playing with it. So
yeah, I think we'll probably I'll do I don't know if you guys like unboxing videos. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a big unboxing guy.
Yeah, some people enjoy it.
Yeah, I know. Maybe throw you a setup. But a lot of people, it does come in a pretty small box. So I know every piece is going to be individual.
Yeah,
I
there's
know
a lot
it's
of little
listed
pieces
as
to
like
put together.
a ton of parts. Yeah. So I do know there will be some assembly involved. So maybe I'll
Greg's
do something like
VR
that.
asked if the Apto will be compatible with the grips, and yes, it should be compatible with the grips because it actually mounts to the controller rings. So you're not actually, there's no cups. So as the Pro Tube and stuff like that, the controller actually slides into a cup. So you have to take those grips off. So with
if you use the upper mount, though, you have to
Right.
use it so it's underslung, so the controllers go underneath, and then yes, you
Right.
can still use the grips.
Yeah, so they are compatible if you set it up to be compatible that way.
Yep, because you can flip the whole thing over and have them on the bottom as well, but then you couldn't have the grips actually on. But yeah, that's definitely it's a great. I'm excited for it. I'll probably end up even getting. I'll see if I don't think they have them listed on their website, but another set of magnets. I would love to have one set up, permanently on the Index, and maybe another one, so on Touch. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Depends. Actually, my go-to though is going to be the Index. So who am I kidding? I'll play shooters in the Index.
Man. I think you're getting called out for contractors. Greg's VR.
Contractors.
They said,
Let's
bring it
go.
on. Jason
Let's
said,
go,
I
man.
think I'm gonna get on contractors today. So,
See, all right, maybe I'm gonna rip this gun stock out,
yeah.
and I could teach you guys how to play contractors. How about that?
Oh boy.
I am
man.
ready, man. I've been wired since I woke up
Yeah,
this
he's
morning.
hyped
I'm
today,
ready to
man.
go.
He was going
I
crazy
know.
this morning with all kinds of voice change and stuff, and I don't know. I wasn't even awake yet. But,
I don't know what you're talking about.
oh boy. All right, well, we should probably wrap it up. We don't know what's going on for sure next weekend. We might be doing a Friday episode, or we might be doing Sunday evening, or we might have a sit-in guest for me. I will be out of town Saturday and Sunday, so we're gonna figure that out. We will let you know hopefully on the Discord once we have an idea. But
Yeah, you got to go somewhere. I know.
yep, busy lately. So,
I know.
All right.
That's all right. We're not gonna miss from now on, though. We are on. We got
Yeah.
your house good to go enough to
For
get
the
us a
most
stream.
part, yeah.
So that's all that matters.
Yep.
And I'm
So.
still here, so I'm not going anywhere. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, we definitely
All right,
appreciate
guys.
David being on. We had a lot of fun talking to him, and
Yeah.
let us know what you think about Ninja Legends and stuff in the
Yeah,
comments
I haven't even
below,
been
so.
watching the chat today. I do
Yeah, it's been-
apologize. I know you've
it's
been
been
trying
tough.
to,
I've been
Sean.
trying
I've
to.
just been, I was so excited about, what was going on and stuff today that I've been blanking out. But I'll hit you guys up on the Discord after this. And yeah, maybe we should play after this.
Maybe.
I think so. I think we should. So, all right,
Awesome.
look us up on our Discord. Join. I'll throw something out to everybody if I'm getting on. But
All right, cool.
past that, I
Yep.
think that's all.
Well, thanks for being here,
All
everybody.
right, guys. Make sure you hit a like if you did like it. Appreciate it. Sub if you haven't. Other than
Yep.
that, we'll see you guys in VR.
See you later, guys.